you can't work all the time, right? So I don't know if you can see, that's my place. So we're back on the neighbor's place, and Annalie's been taking the dogs out for a walk. She told me about this cow, dead cow, that has been here a while, and we found the skull, which is going back with us, obviously. But hi everybody. Well, as I build things like the shop and I gravel a nice driveway and got an area over there that I'm setting up as like a camping spot, and you know, got people coming in to do work on their rigs, it's become really apparent that the cows that free range around here need to be fenced out of this area. Not a big area. I mean, I got 40 acres. I'm okay with the cows running around on most of it, but they come in every, not every night, but nighttime when I don't see them, and leave me little presents. And they, little, and these are not small cows. And they tend to do this in the middle of the driveway all the time. I don't know what it is about my driveway. But, so, that's why I'm gonna build or put up a fence around the whole couple acres, maybe. Maybe it's just a little over an acre right now. It's basically around the shop, around the area that I'm gonna build, over to the property line over there by the stone house. So, let me show you how I'm doing that. Meanwhile, I get to clean up their mess. All right, so I'm here at the northwest corner of my land, and I came out the other day to find that stake. Now that demarks the corner. The front corner is out past the house that's out there, actually in the road. But to make it easier finding this, I put in this pole and painted the top with fluorescent orange and green. Make it easier to spot, you would think, but again, this lot line, all the lot lines are a quarter mile long, so the road is a quarter mile that way. This is 8 feet, which is taller than everything else around, but still might be a little hard to spot. Okay, so you're probably wondering why I was showing you the pole at the corner. My front corner on the road is that where that power pole is, right in line with that. And the one I showed you, or just showed you, is straight out that way, but I can't see it. Maybe I get up in the air, binoculars, I can get to it. But the reason I want to know, this is my property line, and I get, as you can tell by the dung here, and it's all over, this whole area has got a lot of old fences that are knocked down, but it is basically free range for cattle. So the guy who runs it on this land, there's another owner that way, 3 or 4 off this way. It's just all, once you get back that way, it gets a little bit of a hodgepodge. The fences are all down. I mean, we walked out where the cow bones were. That's, a little over a mile, maybe a mile and a half. So, and we didn't hit a standing fence. We had fences that were down, but no standing fences. So basically, and this goes all the way over, the next fence line goes into where that ridge comes in off of the Three Sisters. So this is all free range. Arizona, I think, is a free range state. So you don't fence the cattle in as much as you fence the cattle out, which is what I'm about to do. This old fence here went out around the house down and just past the house and over, and they fenced off probably half an acre for their house. Like down that way when they put in the new house, that was near where the shop is, that's since burned, that was fenced off. So basically you're fencing the cattle out, not so much fencing the cattle in. This fence is going to go away. I'm going to put in a new fence down through here, do a 3-line electric fence, hot at the top, hot at the bottom, neutral down the middle. Reason I'm doing it that way, it's dry out here. Up in the northeast where I'm from, the ground is so moist, you drive one ground rod in underneath the charger and you're good for miles and miles and miles. Here, I talked to one guy, he put in 5 ground rods, spaced 10 feet apart, so we're talking 50 feet, 5 rods, just trying to get a good ground so that his fence could zap the cattle that bumped up against it. What I'm doing is an approved method, is just not something you would run into in a wetter climate. But out here, yeah. So in order to do this, it's going to come all the way from the road through all this, and then that way. There's a nice clear spot except for this one little bush. What I'm going to do is bring the backhoe out here. I am not going to dig these mesquite up. They go down 3-4 feet before I could break them off, and they can go as deep as 20 feet deep. And even if you break it off, it's going to come back up. So what I'm going to do is use the backhoe to just bust the tops right off of these things. I can rip it up, get it done. Then I'll come in when it starts to leaf back out and I'll spray it, and I'll just keep after it around the fence. So do it this way. What I'm going to do is, like I said, come out here, go that way, just past the shop, and then out to the road. And so that's what I'm about to start. I'm gonna go grab the backhoe and get to it. And well, let's go. Okay, so these are a lot of the ties I'm going to be using. Yeah, they're beat up, but if you look around here, way over there, there's a whole mess of them down that way. Out here, you look, there's a whole pile of them over there. This place had all kinds of railroad ties used as fencing, and I've been pulling them up, getting them out of the way. When I clean up, once this fence is up and I clean up in here, there'll be a whole lot more that go all around the house. So what I'm doing is just recycling the ones that are decent. This fence is only going to be about 3 feet high, so these things don't have to be really tall. And like some of the ends, they're pretty beat up, but I can stick them down in, and I can flip them over, use the good side up or down. So we'll do that. Well, now let me start. You can see, like I said, these holes are, I drilled them down 3 feet deep, and so there's a little bit of dirt that's got to come out of there. So now let's start doing that. Well, as you can see, this stuff is like sugar. Trying to get it out with a post hole digger is, as you'd imagine, trying to pick up sugar with a post hole digger. So, old school, and just scoop it out by hand. And I'll keep doing that till I get down to the bottom, and we'll set our post. There we go. This is where a gate will go, and the thing about it is once we get a rain, this stuff is going to get really hard, and if you've been watching for a while, you know a frost line around here is 3 inches deep. So I'm not really worried about these things heaving up out of the ground, but I'm not going to take you with me to do the far post because, well, it's just like doing these, and it's hot, and the black camera out here in the sun doesn't get real happy. So we'll pick up when we start doing the next part of it after I get these 3 more posts in. Okay, so first thing this morning, I took the box blade and just sort of ripped down through here, went all the way around, basically just knocking the grass down and trying to clear a nice clear path, because it's time to put the stakes in. Now these are the posts I'm going to use. Got a little flat spot here to step on, push it down in. The first, well, there's 4 spots for wire. Bottom one's at about 16 inches, then 10 more inches, 10 more, and like 11 more. I'm not going to use the bottom one. I'm going to use these 2, hot wire, ground, and hot wire. I can always put a ground one along the bottom if I decide it's needed, but I think I mentioned before, the trouble is out here in this desert, the groundwater is so far down that it's hard to get a good ground for your fence. Talked to one guy at Tractor Supply. He said he put in 5 ground rods about 10 feet apart. So he had to dig a trench just so they'd be all underneath and wouldn't get caught on mowers and stuff. The other option is to do what I'm doing, is cattle are gonna, if they try to stick their head through, they're gonna come in contact with one of the hot wires and the ground. If they lean up against the fence, same thing. So it's a viable option for out here in the desert. Now the way we do it, these posts have to be 15 to 20 feet apart. I'm going to put them in 20 feet apart. My pace, which is every 2 steps is a pace, is 5.2 feet. So I'm going to go just shy of 4 steps. That'll put it about 20 feet. So I'm parked here. I'm going to start at that post, work my way this way. I've got the lopers with me so I can lope off a couple of branches that are in the way, but off we go. Okay, I don't know if you can see these, but I got the posts in all the way down from corner to corner, all the way down through the whole thing. Didn't start raining here. Was raining over there. I'm getting a little bit, I'm like right on the edge of it like usual. They're getting it. I might be gonna be getting some, which would be nice to see if I get a little bit more. Anyway, I stopped doing this. I want some help. I'll wait till Annalie gets back and we'll string up the wire. Definitely it's a 2-person job, and because I gotta do 3 things and corners and all kinds of fun stuff. Okay, posts are all in. It's time to string the wire, and what I do is there's a half mile of wire right there. This total fence line is a quarter of a mile, more or less. So I got 2 rolls of this, put it on some rebar. I'm gonna walk along carrying that, and Annalie's gonna attach it to the posts as we go, and basically it's walked up back and forth 3 times on this, and then we go do the other side. Well, the next step, now that we've got the wires strung, 3 strands, is to connect them to the post, but also insulate them from the post. And to do that, I'm using these things. Corner post donut insulator. So basically I'm wiring them, hanging them off the post with through the center of the donut, and then attaching the actual electrical wire through that. So I got to put 2 more on this. This is the start, and then we'll go down to that corner and we're going to do something similar down that end. Alright, so on the corners here, I want this wire's got to run inside of this so that it can roll and be tightened at the other end. So I got to have the actual fence wire running inside where I got it twisted, and then bring this around like so. And then I can untie this. When we strung it, I tied it up to the corners just so we could get all the way around. I can untie this. There, and that's how I'm going to want it. By the way, for those who are wondering, these are called fence pliers. They got a hammer on one side for putting in staples, this for getting and pulling out staples. They got wire cutters and crimpers. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to come back to this corner and the other corner where this, once I start tightening this, just to make sure they stay in place. So now I got to do 2 more. We move to the other end. All right, so here, this is the where the gate is going to go, and I'm doing it a little different here. So I'm using this type of insulator, and make life easy, pre-drill a hole, screw this in, make it a little easier on myself. Oops, if I don't drop it. And I'm leaving the hole in the direction of the way the wire is going to go. Now, I don't just hook the wire to this. First thing I got to do is I need to make a loop in the wire, and where the fence pliers are nice is they do have a spot to just grip the wire. So I can give it a good few turns, little twist here. Okay, now one side of this goes through the insulator here, and I put a twist just to hold it in place. Then one of these, they're ratcheting fence tighteners. That goes on here. Make sure it extends back farther than the post. Give this a good twist. And just to lock it in place, I take these ends and wrap it around it. And then take this wire and I'm going to make it a little shorter so it's easier to deal with. And there's a hole through these. You can see where it's through there. Run the wire through. Pull it relatively tight. Not super tight, but relatively tight. And give it a good twist. Stand up a little easier. I give this a good twist down a little ways. And then we can take, by ratcheting this, it'll tighten the fence up. As tight as we want. That's pretty good. Be a little bit tighter, I suppose. There we go. That's two of them. Now I got all of the fences up now. I wired it to the solar charger. It's been out here for a couple weeks, so it's all charged up. Positive attaches to the top wire and the bottom wire. Ground attaches to the middle wire. The gate, such as it is, are these things that basically just unhook. The downside to this system is when these are all unhooked, that whole side is de-energized. What I got to do is pick up some pipe or some hose, and I'll bury it from side to side, and I'll attach, I'll run a couple of straight things of wire underneath so that it's always hot and the gate can still be there. Now, there's two ways to test to make sure this is going. I can brush up against that and touch one of the other two wires if I was a complete idiot, or I bought this little voltage tester. And normally it's got this little probe that would go down on the ground. If you were in a spot that you had ground rods, it's so dry here that's almost possible. Let's see if you can see this if I shade it, you see these things flashing all the way up here to at least 5,000 volts. So those little flashes are the pulses. The way these work, it basically sends out a pulse, and I will check the bottom wire in a second, but here we go. So now it's just a matter of waiting until the cows brush up against this and learn that this is now a no-go zone. And I'll check it. If I start seeing cows inside here, then I'll know that they busted the fence. But yeah, so there you go. That's another big project off the list. And I don't know if I got another one, but I'll find something. There's always more to do. See you later. Take care, my friends. Bye.